All right, so I think that is wonderful information. For me, I'd like to speak to you about how to build organization now. One of the things we keep repeating in our training is doing the basics. If you look at some of the most successful sports people, musicians, anybody who is doing really well at the top of their game, if something happens, they flounder, they seem to be losing touch, they always go back to the basics. I remember reading a story about Tiger Woods. He had won quite a number of golf tournaments, and then for some reason, he wasn't doing very well. Then his coach, I think his coach was his father, told him, go back to the basics. Go back to doing the things that you do that brought you to this level. Another story I remember was about, I think, a basketballer. I forget his name, the one who died in a plane helicopter crash. And he said when people would report for training at 4, he would report at 3, and the only thing he did was the basics. So for that reason, I'm going to go back to the basics. What are the basics of our business? What are the things we need to do all the time to grow our business? So let's look at the basics of our business. A large group of people who do basic things all the time. It's a numbers game. The more people you have in your team who use and recommend products, then you're doing the business well. Think about if you sponsor 2 people every month, after 4 months, you'll have 16 people in your group. In fact, 30. If you sponsor 3 people every month, after 4 months, you will have more than 81 people. If you sponsor 5 people every month, after 4 months, is actually 780 people. That's the power of duplication of our business. Now, what are the basics of our business? What are the essential things every distributor has to do? Whether you're new or old, whether you're 2 months old in the business or you're 30 years old in the business or 50 years old in the business. The essential things that all of us have to do, the first thing is we all need to use the products. Why is that important? Because we have become our own best customers. People will not believe us if we don't use the products ourselves. When Betty and I started the business, we sometimes used to have distributors who push their customers and their team members to use the product, but they don't use. It is just a matter of time before they find out and they stop using the product. So the first thing is use the products yourself so that you can become a story. And 2, the people can trust that you're actually selling what you believe in. The next thing we do in our business is we share the business and the products. What does that mean? It simply means we recommend the products to people. We recommend the business opportunity to people. Some people will just join to use the products. Some people will join to build the business. And the people who join to build the business, you'll have 3 categories. You'll have the people who just join as distributors to use products at a discount. Then you will have another group of people who join the business. They build the business up to senior manager, director, then that's enough for them. But then you get the actual leaders who really want to grow a large enterprise. These are the leaders. So you will always have those 3 types of people in the business. And the last thing you need to do is personal development. It simply means every day, take time to learn something new. Take time to learn a new skill. Take time to develop your better attitude for building the business, because the better an attitude you have about the life, the better your business will grow. Now, let's look at the process of building the business. The sponsoring process. The sponsoring process simply means, what process do you go through to get new people in your team? Remember, sponsoring is not an event. It's not something that happens at once. It is a process that you have to go through to get new people in the business. It's like a funnel. You start with a name list of 20, 30, 40 people. Out of, let me say you speak to 40 people in a month, only 8 to 10 may express a serious interest to join the business. Only 2 to 3 will join your business. Those are the numbers you need. Although this is the numbers game, not everybody is going to see what you see in the business. So remember that. Not everybody will see what you see in the business. This business, anybody can do it, but it's not for everybody. It's for those people who have this special mindset that they actually see the potential of the business. So what is a sponsoring process? Step number 1, name list. You need to write a name of people in the business. 3 rules about name list. Number 1, write names down. Your brain is fantastic. Your brain can do marvelous things. But a blank pencil is always better than a good memory. Write the names down. The second rule about name list is do not prejudge. Do not look at somebody, either your current position or whether they're young, whether they don't have a business, they don't seem to be going anywhere in life. You don't know what God has planted in the person's heart and mind. Don't prejudge. Rule number 3, tick them off the list. What does that mean? Invite them, call them and invite them to have a look at the business. That's the first step. Step number 2, invite them to see the presentation. Inviting is called the gateway of our business. If you're good at inviting, I can promise you your future is very bright. If you haven't taken time to learn to invite professionally, I can guess what your business will be in a year's time or 2 years' time. So take inviting as a gateway or the key to building your organization. Learn how to invite professionally and use tools as much as possible in the invitation process. In fact, make the invitation very, very brief. If you are speaking to somebody about, let me say, a friend of yours you haven't seen for 10 years, you want to invite them to look at the business. Pick up the phone. If you have their phone number, say, so and so, I know it's a long time we haven't spoken to you, but I've got a quick question for you. Are you open to look at a way to generate additional income? If they say yes, maybe we should meet over a cup of coffee and catch up. That's fantastic. I'll send you some information. Then maybe tomorrow or the day after we can meet for a cup of coffee. I give you more details. Is that okay? Then you hang the phone. Be very good at inviting. It's very difficult to explain the business on the phone. But if you're very far, the distance is a challenge. Try and explain and send them something to look at, a video to explain the business in a bit more detail. Number 3, show the business plan. Use the business system as much as possible. The BOPs, whether it's in person or the ones through Zoom, or send them a video that explains the business in brief and in detail. Use the tools as much as possible. The 4th part of sponsoring is called follow-up. Follow-up simply means you do what you promised to do. If somebody has seen the business, don't neglect to call them and wasting the momentum you have built up to get the person in the business. And then number 5 is sign and train them to do exactly what you have done. I remember this W when we started the business. This is the main thing of the process of sponsoring people in the business. As we said earlier, prospect leads, write down 100 plus, 200 plus. The second thing, invite the people to look at the business, 3 to 5 people every day. Third, use tools to show the business. If you use a tool, you make the business grow faster. Why? Because it saves you a lot of time trying to explain the business. For example, somebody joined the business last week. They've seen the business, they actually see that this thing can actually work. But because they're shy or because they're not sure of themselves, if they have a tool, they call their friend. Jane, I've just started the business. I'm very excited. I'm new in the business, but I want to send you a short video that explains the business. Would you be open to look at it? You say, yeah, they'll be able to. Okay. When do you think you can watch the video? If it's a short video, I can watch it even now. Or if you send it, I'll watch it tomorrow morning. Okay. I'm sending you a video. When can I call you back to discuss the contents of the video? That's how you invite. Okay. Once you invite, then the business opportunity presentation is that somebody experienced presents a business, either person to person, one-on-one, or in a group setting, or a Zoom meeting, or in a large venue if you have a near-life experience. Once the business presentation has been done, it's important to follow up with your prospect. And follow up involves asking 4 basic questions. The first question is this: Does the business concept make sense? Why is that question important? Because you want to see that the person actually attended and attempted to understand what was going on. They may not understand. I've had very successful distributors who said the first meeting they went, they understood nothing about what was going on, but they were excited about the story they had in the presentation. All right. So first step, did the business concept make sense? Second question, what did you like most about the presentation? That question is framed that way because you're trying to elicit only a positive reaction from the prospect. What did you like most about the presentation? The products or the business part, or both? Third question, do you see yourself getting involved in the business? And last question, when would you like to start? If you're in East Africa or Kenya, you can do mobile money or bank account. If you're in Southern Africa, we give you the bank details to pay so that you get started in the business. And then once the person has joined the business, the next thing is there are only three possible answers from a prospect. Yes, they want to start, or they are not quite interested in the business, but they'd like to use the products, or no, they're not interested, or it's not the right time for them. Those are the only 3 possible answers you'll get from your prospect. And it's very, very important to have a system that you use to follow up with your prospect. And follow up, remember, most prospects say yes after 5, 6, 7, 8 times of showing them the business. Okay? That's the work we do. That's a sponsoring process. Let's talk about something else that I think is very, very critical for the success of our business. And that is teamwork. Why is teamwork very important? Teamwork is very important because of the very nature of our business is getting a large group of people doing a few simple things over a long duration of time. And that requires teamwork. You will never be successful in this business if you don't build a team. You can reach director level just your own. You can move 10,000 PV, 20,000 PV, 30,000 PV personally, but you cannot make the step to suffer director if you don't have a team, right? So every successful endeavor in life always involves a team. Look at the human body. The human body is a team of different organ systems, different systems. You have the skeletal system, you have the nervous system, you have the circulatory system, you have the brain function. Our body is made up of different aspects that work in unison as a team. Look at a soccer team, a basketball team, a country, a family. It's always teamwork. So remember, if you really want to succeed in our business, think about how you help to build a team. The other thing I would like to share with you is yesterday I was giving a talk to a group of people about what kindness is. Kindness is doing something. Kindness is responding positively to the suffering of another without expecting anything back. That is what kindness is. And the greatest kindness that you can give to anybody is lead them from error to truth. That is why one of the things we do in our business is to educate people about what our business actually is, because most people do not understand our business. So when you build an attitude of being kind to people, remember you're actually helping your own self. You're helping your business to grow. Okay. So learn how to be kind to people in your team and become selfless, because when you do, you will find that people get you attract the right kind of people in your team. The third thing about a teamwork is this: you need to create a vision for your team. Why is that important? First, it creates momentum in your group, and two, it creates direction. If you're the leader of your team, remember that everybody who is in your downline or your success line is looking up to you for direction, is looking up to you for leadership. And the more you share your vision or your goals with your team, the more they get aligned with you and they start building momentum to grow the business. So one of the important things about teamwork is creating a vision for your team. The fourth thing is having team identity. Why is that important? Because we are all social beings. We want to belong to something. We want to belong to someone. Think about a family. When children are born in a family, they take the identity of the family. They know their parents love them, and therefore they have their own self-identity related to the identity of the family. Our business is similar. People who join the business want to belong to an exciting team. So you need to create your own team identity. That's why Charlie Bolton named his group the Eagle Team. Hans's group is called the Marshall Eagles. Different leaders have names for their teams. So have your own team name when you reach Sapphire Director and above. Why? Because then you become a team leader. That's why you're called a world team member. So develop a team identity. And then number 5, learn to delegate. What does that mean? It simply means don't do for your team members what they can do for themselves. Why is that important? Because it relieves you to get other new people to train on how the business functions. Learn to delegate. The more you learn to delegate the things that are done in the business, the better. For example, you get a new person in the business, they start the business, show them how to order products, show them about the business basics. What is a manager? What is a senior manager? What is an executive manager? What is a director, emerald, sapphire, ruby, diamond, all those things. Teach them about the compensation plan. Teach them about the terms we have in our business. The more you teach them these things, the more it releases you to get other new people in the business. So learn to delegate when you're building a team of people. And then the last thing you need to, if you really want to succeed at a high level, empower your team through training and mentorship. Charlie says, sponsor, equip, and let go. Sponsor, equip, and let go. If you do that, sometimes there's a temptation or a tendency that if you have people in your team who tend to depend on you, it gives you a sense of accomplishment. When you have people in your team, make yourself irrelevant as quickly as possible. When you do that, your team will grow with or without you. That's why you need to empower people in your team through training and mentorship. It's important that when you have people whom you're guiding to grow as leaders, have a regular session with them to see what they're doing, check what books they're reading, check the steps they want to make, listen to the challenges that they are going through. I don't think that you should solve all their problems. I think you should let them overcome the problems on their own, and through them, they grow to be stronger leaders. If you take away challenges from people in your team, you're taking away their chances of growing in the business. So if you have people in your team, make sure that the challenges they go through, let them go through it, but with your support, so that they can become stronger leaders in your business. So those are essentially a few things I wanted to mention about teamwork. It's very important. This business, you can never build it on your own. It is always teamwork. And one of the things you need to do to be a good team leader is first show the people the right path to follow. Number two, do what you tell them to do. You should be your first best student. And you keep doing that, you will find that your team begins to pick up, your team begins to grow with or without you. And if you do those few basic things, you will find that your business will start to grow in leaps and bounds, and eventually you will reach the level of sapphire director, world team member, president's team member. And the moment you become a president's team member, your life will dramatically change. Last week we received a short video. I think the president's team members have just finished a tour of Portugal. Next year they are going to Holland. I saw some of the beautiful pictures about Holland. The thing that attracted me most about Holland are the flowers. They have large hectares of land that only grow flowers, the tulips. So if you're a distributor and you want to reach those levels, just make sure you help somebody else become a director in your team. If you do that, nothing will stop you from reaching the level you want. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank all of you very much for spending your evening with Betty and myself. And we hope some of the ideas we've shared with you will help you grow to the next level. I was speaking to one of our distributors today. She's very excited about going to Dar es Salaam on the 12th of October. They're leaving, I think they're leaving Nairobi on the 10th. They travel by bus. And then on the 12th, they're attending the convention. The convention in Southern Africa is on the 19th of October in Pretoria, which is not very far from here. So I wish you all the very best, and good night and God bless.